Hello everyone, Decorator the Kids here, back again bringing some necromancy for you. This time I've got a top 10 list of Go format battle traps, which for the purpose of this video is any trap card which can only be activated or activate its effect when a monster attacks or during the damage step. They'll be ranked mostly on how many times a deck including them has reached top 8 in GOAT tournaments, but with a little bit of my personal opinion and help with other players who I've asked. Let's get started. First up, a few honorable mentions. Bark of Dark Ruler and Amazon's Archers are two cards which, in a deck focused around them, could be better than some of the lower placements in this list. Bark of Dark Ruler is okay in a Fiend-based deck, and Amazon's Archers allows you to OTK in an Amazoness deck alongside Ojama Trio. Also, I wasn't sure if I should include Robin Goblin on this list or not, because it is mainly used for when you're the one attacking, and didn't feel quite in the spirit of things. If you want to say it counts, then it would be number 5 on the list with 6 top placements. Now for the actual top 10. Number 10 is Negate Attack, a counter trap card that negates an incoming attack and ends the battle phase. While helping you stall for a turn is an okay effect, it doesn't really help you improve your board state, and even in its role, it's generally outclassed by Wabaku and Threatening Roar since, unlike those cards, Negate Attack cannot be chained in response to removal like Heavy Storm. Number 9 is Mask of Weakness, a normal trap that reduces the attack of an attacking monster by 700 points till the end of the turn. This card has a relatively high ceiling, being able to turn itself into removal with extra damage on top, should the opponent attack into your attack mode monster with now higher attack points. But a lot of times too, the mask will only reduce the damage you take. While Rush Recklessly is a strictly better version of this card, Mask of Weakness hilariously slots into a Fugio Richie deck, since Great Dizard needs to destroy monsters in battle, and also can't be targeted by your own cards. Number 8 is Ordeal of a Traveler, a continuous trap card that, when your opponent attacks, they must pick a card in your hand and call monster, spell, or trap. If the card isn't the chosen type, the attacking monster is returned to the hand. This card has the potential to infinitely waste the opponent's turns by putting their monster back into their hand again and again. However, it isn't always going to work, especially if you have 1 or 0 cards in hand, and it can backfire if you end up returning something like Breaker the Magical Warrior, which can gain advantage for the opponent each time it's summoned. Number 7 is Dark Mirror Force, a normal trap that, when your opponent attacks, removes from play all defense position monsters your opponent controls. While the effect itself is something to die for, being able to remove pesky flips and wall monsters, putting it on an attack trigger makes it much harder to control. Usually the opponent is going to flip summon their monsters before entering the battle phase, and most players wait until main phase 2 to set monsters so they can have more information. Still, you might catch an opponent putting something like Chaos Sorcerer in defense mode to protect it against Mirror Force, only to be blown out by Dark Mirror Force instead. Number 6 is Fairy Box. Very similar to Ordeal of a Traveler, Fairy Box is a continuous trap card relying on luck. Every time an opponent's monster attacks, you flip a coin and call it. If you call it right, the attacking monster's attack becomes 0 until the end of the battle phase. You also have to pay 500 life points during each standby phase or destroy Fairy Box. It's higher up on this list partly because I believe there was a single aggro burn deck that topped with this card. Like Mask of Weakness, this could turn any attack on your attack mode monsters into removal, but it can also cause the opponent to take a bunch of damage regardless of battle positions. However, if you're unlucky with the flips, or don't have any monsters to go alongside it, you can end up wasting a bunch of life points trying to pay for it so it stays on the field. Number 5 is Mirror Wall, another continuous trap that halves the attack of all the opponent's monsters when they attack, and each standby phase you must pay 2,000 life points or destroy Mirror Force. In some ways, it's a worse version of Fairy Box, meaning that it only halves the attack instead of making it 0, and it costs 2,000 life points instead of 500. However, Mirror Force has a guaranteed effect and can be activated in the damage step to surprise the opponent and make itself harder to counter. You're usually playing it in a one-off to act as a destruction effect and profiting off the effects of cards like Don Zalug or Air Knight Parshath. If you pay the 2,000 life points too, the attack of the monsters remain halved, allowing you to attack over them coming into your turn. Number 4 is Magic Cylinder. I'm sure you know what this card does already thanks to the show, but if you don't, it's a normal trap card that negates an opponent's attack and deals damage to them equal to the attack of their monster. Magic Cylinder sees play mainly in burn decks, where it can take out massive chunks of life points and sometimes finish games when your opponent attacks with DLS or a Lava Golem you gave to them. For a time, it was also seen as a side deck card to bring in against players using Solemn Judgment, sniping the last bit of their lower life total to cheese out victory. Number 3 is Widespread Ruin, a normal trap card that, when your opponent attacks, destroys the attack position monster they control with the highest attack. One nice thing about this card is that it doesn't target, so it can get around the occasional King Dragon that Stein and meta users play. Because it doesn't choose what card to destroy until a resolution, it also means if the opponent uses Book of Moon or a similar card to save the monster they attacked with, Widespread Ruin will just destroy another attack mode monster they control. Number 2 is Sakuretsu Armor. Very similar to the previous card, Sakuretsu Armor activates when an opponent's monster attacks, then targets and destroys that monster. While you might initially think that it's worse than Widespread Ruin, the fact that you can save it to only destroy the attacking monster of your choice can mean a lot. Like if you want to destroy a Don Zalug while your opponent controls a Blade Knight, or if you want to prevent a Mystic Swordsman level 2 from destroying your face down in a similar scenario. While the situations it's worse in can come up, players often prefer the freedom of choice. And number 1 is Mirror Force, a normal trap that can only be used when the opponent attacks and destroys all attack position monsters they control. Mirror Force is one of the most frightening cards in the format, and significantly affects the play patterns of duelists, forcing them to respect that a player might have it or suffer major losses. In my opinion, it is one of the most essential cards in Go format, as it increases the amount of thought that players need to put into their turns. Do you leave your monsters in attack mode and risk it getting taken out by Mirror Force when you could attack with something else? Do you really want to attack with 3 monsters all at once and risk getting blown out? Or can you afford to hold back the pressure until next turn? Even if you forget to put Mirror Force in your deck, the opponent is likely going to play around it as if you do have it, because the consequences for doing so are just too big. And that's the top 10 battle traps in Go format. What do you think? Do you have swap places of any of the cards on this list? Is there a top 10 that you would like to see in the future? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, remember to subscribe to a Yu-Gi-Tuber you like today, even if that isn't me.